Today we'll be talking about the compound pendulum. In the earlier lab, we did the experiments on simple pendulum in which there was a concentrated mass which was attached to a massless spring. But in most of the condition, this is not a very practical situation. And in practical situations, you may consider like a pivot joint. So a mass which is a solid remains suspended from a joint. Okay, something like this, which is there is no string attached, the whole mass is suspended from a joint. So any machine part which is pivoted and free to allow to move in simple harmonic motion is called compound pendulum. Okay, the difference between simple pendulum and compound pendulum is simply that in simple pendulum the mass remains attached to a massless spring and it remains concentrated at this end, where as in compound pendulum the whole solid is suspended from a pivoting point somewhere on its body and it's allowed to move freely. So any pivoting joint is like this. So machines may have different parts which remain suspended like this. So here in this experiment, our objective is to again is to verify the formula for time period of a compound pendulum, very similar to simple pendulum. We know that T is equal to 2 pi under root L by G, and we know that this time period, which is just opposite to frequency, reverse of frequency, inverse of frequency, and the time period remains independent on the mass. Here in compound pendulum, let's say there is a solid which remains suspended from this point, and this solid has, so here is a solid has CG somewhere this point. So from CG, let's say it has the mass m, then its weight becomes mg. And if it is allowed to move from center point to one end, like this, from one end to another end, then the time period from here to here and then here to here can be determined. We must notice that we are talking about the natural vibrations which are occurring in compound uh, mm, in compound pendulum. So the natural vibrations in this case is 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 angle theta. So this theta is actually very small, and this actually vibrates with very small theta. Let's say it comes into another state when we allow to move it. It comes into different state like this, and then here is a mass suspended. Sorry, the mass remains suspended in this direction, mg, and let's say this distance is d. Okay, so from here you can say the mass comes here. Also, because it is suspended from this pivot point will also experience some reaction force. Let's say this reaction force is R and this angle is theta. Okay, so if I is the moment of inertia of this body about this axis about which this is oscillating, you see this is like this. So if I is the moment of inertia, of this body about this axis, let's say xx dash. Okay, then we can simply write that the torque which is being generated here, see, one force is acting over here mg, another force is acting over here r, and both will try to rotate uh, this workpiece into this direction. Okay, they form a set of forces such that it will rotate like this. So tau is equal to, in this case, what it will become? Mg into d sine theta, where d sine theta is the perpendicular distance, okay, between this force and from this pivoting point. And because this is d and this is theta, so this will become d sine theta. So tau is equal to mg d sine theta. We also know that the torque is also equal to I alpha, where I is the moment of inertia and alpha is the angular acceleration. Okay, this is angular acceleration. Just say class 12 maths. I hope you remember. This tau is equal to I alpha is actually, as you know, F is equal to ma when it is a linear motion. When it is a circular motion, F can be replaced by tau, M can be replaced by I, and the moment of inertia and A can be replaced by alpha. So they are both connected like this. So anyways, tau is equal to I alpha, and so we can simply write that I alpha is nothing but mg d sine theta. And we also know that theta is very small, so it becomes mg d theta. If the alpha is very small, sine theta is theta. So alpha, the angular acceleration, becomes mgd by I into theta. Achha, angular acceleration, what is alpha? Alpha is also equal to omega square theta. If you remember from class 12 physics, you see whenever any body is here and whenever it is moving from this point to this point in simple harmonic motion, at any particular instant, the linear acceleration A is given by omega square x, the linear acceleration, and the angular acceleration alpha is omega square theta. Okay. So alpha is also equal to omega square theta. So if just we compare these two expressions, and then we can find that omega is equal to under root mgd by I. So omega is equal to under root mgd by I, and we know that t, the time period, is actually 2 pi by omega. You know, omega is equal to 2 pi n, if you remember, and n is equal to 1 by t. So t becomes 2 pi by omega. So the time period is 2 pi underscore, sorry, under root I by mgd. This is the time period for any body which is moving in simple harmonic motion. Okay. In case of simple pendulum, क्या हो जाता है? T is equal to 2 pi. सिंपल पेंडुलम के केस में I क्या हो जाएगा? I is equal to mk square. K is radius of gyration. Here K becomes L, तो m L square divided by mg, और d क्या हो जाएगा? सिंपल हार्मोनिक केस में d becomes L, है ना? तो that is why we say that the time period for a simple harmonic motion is 2 pi under root L by G. In case of compound pendulum, T is equal to 2 pi under root I by mgd. Now I here depends upon the kind of the compound pendulum you're using. It may be a rectangular rod, then you have to use different formula. It can be elliptical rod. So I is the moment of inertia about this axis about which it is rotating. Okay. So in your experiment, you need to find out which kind of object you are using, and then accordingly what will be I. Okay, so this will give you some idea how to determine the moment of inertia for any system. Again, see, this formula says that this depends on D. And what is D? D is the distance of center of gravity from the pivoting point. Okay, D is here center of gravity of this whole system from this pivoting point. So again, the time period, all the frequency T, all the frequency depends on D. Okay. You also need to find out whether it remains dependent upon M or not, because in simple pendulum case it was independent of mass. Here also, will it remain dependent or not? It depends which kind of object you are taking. But in most of the cases, I is equal to mk square. So m generally gets cancelled out. Okay. So k means radius of gyration remains there. However, better you find out what is I here in this case, you know. So this formula will give you some reading about time period, which is a theoretical calculation, and then you can use the experimental calculations in order to find out the time period for oscillations, and then you have to just verify whether this formula holds true or not. So remaining details are there in the video shared by Vidit. So is there any question from your side? So if not, Vidit, you want to say anything?
No, sir. Everything is covered.
Okay. So, okay. So for now, I'm just ending this meeting. You need to just go through the video shared by Vidit and go through all the readings which have been obtained. And have you solved all the problems related to your report? Because I received at least 2 or 3 inquiries how to make the report. So you need to write everything in the report as much as possible, as smart as possible. Okay, because at this time I don't think you should really ask what should be written in the report. So